Hello, welcome to Stephen Speak. This episode is going to be about if I became an actor, what would be my ideal role and what is my fantasy for being an actor? You probably can guess. Maybe you can't. I don't know. More after this. Welcome to Stephen Speak, the podcast. Unscripted prattle on everything and nothing. I'm using myself far too much. I don't know why. Anyway, welcome to the episode. Thank you very much for joining me once more. I'm a bit tired today. I was on the road with the podcast yesterday. I've seen some of the posts from this week, and you'll already know this. Up into the social media at Stephen Speak PC for more. But yeah, I was recording with Johnny again. Another episode about his motorcycle adventures, and one that he mentioned on the last episode that we recorded. So go back and check the other episodes out in season 2, and we'll be hearing from Johnny in season 4 because there's not many episodes left now of season 3. I know, I can hear you all crying. It's terrible. Like I know, it's awful. A couple of weeks break. I'm hoping to try and do the stuff I didn't do last time. Over this break, I've got a bit of time off from work, so hopefully I'll accomplish it this time. So my idea is, I don't know if I've said this before. I want to redo the logo, get some stuff trimmed out, do a little bit of planning, try and actually pencil in some guest speaks again. So yeah. I'm enjoying it. So I really enjoy doing this. I do. I enjoy sharing my thoughts with you, and I hope you enjoy listening to my thoughts. And I hope it's not too scary for you. Anyway, today is, as I said in the intro, vaguely, is about what would be if I could do only one acting role, what would that be? And for me, it's playing a cowboy, like a Western film. If I could only do one film, if I got the offer, like, you want to be like the lead role or like I'd like to be a main character at least. But I would vote for a cowboy film. I don't know. I've always, since being a kid, always liked the idea of, kind of roughing it in the desert, having to camp, live under the stars, kind of be self-sufficient, but also be a bit of a rogue. Because I think in a lot of cowboy films, especially like the Young Guns, like I grew up with like films like the Young Guns and Tombstone and stuff like that. And Young Guns was very, very like fun, making light of. It kind of made light, but also was like quite a violent film actually. But yeah, I always had that I kind of had that romanticized kind of thing where you could be kind of good but did a few things wrong, a bit like Robin Hood kind of thing. Robin Hood Cowboy. Maybe that's a crossover. Maybe I've just invented something. It's just the whole thing about being a cowboy, being skilled with a 6-shooter, using a rifle, riding a horse, camping under the stars, going into the saloons and drinking whiskey straight, and getting into bar fights. And then maybe this says something about me, what I actually maybe should have turned out with. But yeah, I don't do any of that stuff in real life. Drink a bit of alcohol every so often, not even that much anymore. If they transposed me directly into a cowboy film, it would be quite a pathetic attempt. But yeah, as an assumed role as an actor, I think it'd just be like an amazing opportunity. There's something about a cowboy film that really draws me in. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, because it must have been a shit time for everyone that lived in that era, of outlaws, and you've got the whole, white man, kicking out, the Native Americans and the struggles there, and obviously, oh yeah, it's just, I'm not even going to profess to know the history that well, but I just think it must have been a really, really, a lot of these towns and stuff were brand new. You're trying to be a prospector, panning for gold, mining, drilling for oil, and and everyone's just trying to make some money, and out on the road, and I kind of like that kind of having nothing but being okay with it and getting into a ruckus at the same time. Oh, but I'd obviously want to be the hero. I wouldn't want to die. I'd want to be like, I'd want to be the person that, maybe not necessarily the hero, but the person that is like successful at whatever they're doing. You know, getting into a scrape, but getting out of it, being a really good, quick draw. Like that whole thing of like, like spinning your gun and putting it in the holster, and like really appeals to me. Like that for me is like is is something that I used to practice as a kid. And I don't know if that's a thing that like a lot of. So I've just changed the volume on my mic, so I hope that didn't blow your ears out. Yeah, I've always thought that that'd be something really cool to do, is to be able to like shoot like a bullet out the air. Like someone draws and you can shoot their bullet out there, a bit like on Red Dwarf. The what was it called? The Gunmen of the Apocalypse, was it called? The episode where they all go into the AR machine and basically cowboys to rescue Crichton. Spoiler alert. What am I saying spoiler alert for? That fucking program's like nearly 40 years old. That's depressing. Yeah, but the whole cowboy thing. And when I was younger, actually, when I was really young, I really liked like the Lone Ranger, like that kind of like cowboys, Indians, and I always had a 6-shooter, like a cap gun, which was amazing. I used to play cowboys and Indians all the time, mixed in with, I'm not gonna lie, mixed in with ninjas. I've always liked ninjas as well, so it was always like cowboys and Indians and ninjas, which is a weird mix, but it's what I used to play. I always liked, if it, you get them sets at the toy shops where it was like you could get like a cowboy set or you could get like a ninja set. I mean, I don't know if they still do them anymore. I hope they do, because kids are missing out. So you used to be able to get like maybe like a 6-shooter, maybe a belt and a holster, and some fake bullets for your holster, because the gun was a cap gun normally, or just a triggered gun. And sometimes they lit up inside like a spark thing. Like, do you remember them? We'd pull the trigger and it'd like rotate like a drum inside, and it would spark. I took one of them apart once, and it was really dangerous. Anyway, that was what I was like as a kid. I used to fiddle and take things apart. But yeah, I used to get them, and I'd either go for like the Zorro Lone Ranger kind of pack, where Zorro had a sword and he also had a gun. So you'd get like a little shitty plastic sword and a holster and a gun and a little bandana, or you get a ninja set, and that would have like obviously ninja stars and a samurai sword, or you get the cowboy set. I normally head towards, to be fair, my mum was a bit. I threw a ninja star once at my brother and hit him in the eye, so that kind of put the nail in the coffin for having them sort of sets. It was always when I used to go to Ireland normally. It was to keep me occupied in the caravan, because they were really cheap, so I would never normally have them for longer than like the stay in Ireland, or maybe they'd last like a couple of stays, but they would break pretty quickly. Really, really cheap, shoddy plastic, so they'd like deteriorate in sunlight and stuff. Terrible. But yeah, I was always like going for the cowboy stuff, and I've always really loved cowboy films, and yeah, that for me is the role I would go for. And if out of any role, I would just love to be dressed as a cowboy. I have a cowboy hat and I don't wear it enough, and I think I might start wearing it. I might get some funny looks at work, but I might just start donning the cowboy hat, because it's practical. I used to wear it quite a lot with my trench coat, which is essentially a duster. Let's face it. And when it rains, like, you don't feel it. Like, it's ace, brilliant. I'm gonna start wearing that more. It's actually literally behind me. It's on the head of I'm guessing is it Shakespeare or Beethoven's bust? I can't remember. What's the one from Batman, the original series? He used to lift his head up and press the button to open the secret door. Is it Beethoven? It's Beethoven, isn't it? Can't see his face. He's covered in hats. Yeah, but my cowboy hat's sat on top of him at the moment. He's literally being a hat stand for me. Yeah, but if it wasn't cowboys, it would obviously have to be sci-fi. If I wasn't going to be, if I was suddenly thrust into the world of acting, and I could do more than one film, like definitely a sci-fi film would be the thing to do. And any sci-fi film wouldn't be good enough. It would have to be a Star Trek feature film. And I think weirdly in that, I wouldn't even need to be the main character. See, in the Cowboy film, I'd want to be like a main character, like the protagonist or something like that. But in a Star Trek film, a minor role would do me. Maybe one line. Maybe on the bridge where someone says, I don't know. I don't know what that was. That's how the captain speaks to you. The captain just goes, "Have you scanned the planet?" I don't know what captain that's meant to be. I'm in a weird mood today. And you go, "Sir," I don't know why I'm doing this voice. I could just do my own voice, but "Sir, there's no life signs on the planet." And that'd be good enough for me. I could cope with one line in Star Trek, but for a Cowboy film, I would want to be. I'd want to be the star. I'd want to be the star. Yeah, I wonder why that is. Actually, there's a weird psychology there, isn't there? That maybe I hold Star Trek with such like, I don't know, esteem and like I feel like I wouldn't be worthy to be part of the crew, but like a minor part would be okay. Like I couldn't be part of the main bridge crew, like the captain or number one or Deanna Troi. Not that I would dress up as Deanna Troi. Like I'm just saying, like I couldn't be like the ship's counselor or like one of the main posse. But a side character or like a sub character. Maybe I could be a bartender. Maybe I could be like Whoopi Goldberg's character, and be the wise barman, or even just be a barman. I don't know if I could pass off wise. But yeah, it's weird that I would be really settled for just a walk on part, in something like that. Not that it's ever going to happen. Well, mind you, can't discount it. You never know what the future holds, do you? You never know what the future holds. Maybe I'll get to do a cowboy film. Maybe I'll get to be an extra in a Star Trek film. I used to have fantasies when I was a kid of being a stuntman. So like another option for me would be, if I wasn't going to be in a cowboy film or a walk on part in Star Trek, I would definitely want to be like the stunt person or even the action star that does their own stunts. I think there's nothing cooler than that. You're acting in the film, but then some stunt happens and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's the stunt person," and you can go, "I actually jumped off that build myself," or "I actually rode that boat, motorbike." Jeez, no, I was trying to say Bokamite. I don't know what that was about. Bokamite. Yeah, and you could actually say, "I rode that bike through that flaming wall," or whatever. I think it'd be so cool. I mean, like Tom Cruise and a few people like Jason Statham do their own stunts. I don't know how much Jason Statham does anymore. I presume he does his stunts, but he probably doesn't. There's quite a few Hollywood stars that do quite a few of their own stunts, but like probably Tom Cruise is the one that really pushes the boundaries for it in the most recent years. But yeah, I'd love to like do my own stunts and be in an action film and be the action hero. Like growing up as like an 80s kid, like you got all these like amazing like 80s films with action stars like Bruce Willis in Die Hard, Die Hard 2. Great films, like, and you know what? For that, I wouldn't even care if I wasn't doing my own stunts because it just looks cool just to be the action star. And I've always like wanted to run away from an explosion. Like you see in these you go pretty much any 80s action film, even to the early 90s, and even some modern day ones like the Expendables. Like you'll be running away, and there'll be an explosion goes off, and you're at a safe distance, but you still get hit by the shockwave, and you have to take cover, or you get blown up, and you pushed away from the explosion. And that's like an iconic thing in most action films. I'd love to be able to do that, and then just also be in a gunfight in a film, like the scene from Die Hard when they're shooting around the office. When they shoot the glass, and he hasn't got his shoes on. Spoiler, but it's an old film, so screw you if you've not seen it. I mean that in a nice way. That's a pally kind of screw you. But when they shoot the glass out, and then he's running, all the squibs are going off, and all the sparks, and the glass is being blown out, and Bruce Willis is running through, shooting back. Oh, that's ace. That's ace. I mean, I bet on set it looks nothing like that. I bet when people are on set, they're like, "Yeah, it's really boring," and then we don't do anything like that. And part of it's not even me, and we have to do it 3 times from 3 different angles. It's really loud. Who cares? It looks freaking ace. Like, you're doing it for the impression on film, aren't you? Like, and that's what you're doing it for. Yeah, but Cowboys are ace. I watched Cowboys and Aliens when it came out, just to fit to another thing. And that was not a bad film, but I thought it was a weird concept. And it wasn't a bad film. But I really just like the cowboy side of it for me. I don't even remember the plot of the film. Like, I remember them being aliens. Were they real aliens? I can't even remember. Were they fake aliens? Was it? Oh, no, they must have been, because there was a spaceship, wasn't there? I have no clue. Was it even this planet? Was it a different planet? I don't know. The thing I took away from that film is, I'd love to be in a cowboy film and not an alien cowboy film. So I think that's the thing I took away from that. Just to let you know. Just let me take some a slurp of Pepsi. Not a sponsor. I feel like that should be a slogan of this show. Let me drink some Pepsi. Not a sponsor. Maybe they would sponsor me then. No, I wouldn't even be asking for much sponsorship. If they give me £100, that's nothing, is it? That would pay for my show for a year. Well, nearly a year. That was a big huff, sorry, down the microphone. Yeah, but I think I don't. Going back to the cowboy thing, I'm not sure what really draws me to being a cowboy, like in a film way. Maybe it's just because I want to be a cowboy. Maybe it's nothing to do with the acting. Maybe I'm just like really wanting to be an actual cowboy. Maybe that's what it is. So I think that I know I can't do that because cowboys don't. Well, they kind of do exist, I suppose, in some sense. But like historic being in that time doesn't exist because we're not in that time. This is hard today. But yeah, I think I would want to be a cowboy from then and not now, because that's the full experience. I think I'd get some strange looks if I walked around Crewe, my hometown, in chaps and jeans and chaps and all the regalia. I don't know how I'd feel about a horse though. I've never really ridden a horse, and I'm a little bit scared of horses. Like not scared as in the going to be a stupid thing to say. I was going to say not scared as in they don't scare me, because they do scare me, but they scare me in the fact that they're so powerful and big. And I remember watching my friend Louise do cross country on her horse once, and I knew they were big, but they're big when you're next to them, and they're super strong. When I saw her galloping like at full speed on horse, I was like, "Holy shit! No thanks." I ride a motorcycle, and I've always like compared being on a motorcycle to riding a horse, because you've got this like machine underneath you, this powerful kind of semi in control beast between your legs. When I saw her on a horse going full pelt, I was like, yeah, I think I'll stick to my motorbike. I think that's a safer bet. Which is really unusual, because you think like a wild animal would or semi-tame animal would be the thing to be the safer bet. I don't know, but yeah. So maybe I'd be like a cowboy that rides a donkey, which is probably more my size anyway, because I'm a short ass. Or I'd just walk everywhere. It would just take me ages. I'd have to carry it, like pull a trolley or something with me. Yeah, maybe that's where the fantasy comes from. Me actually, the romanticizing the fact that I would have wanted to be an actual cowboy back in the day, rather than actually just want to act in a film. But I still want to act in a film. So if anyone out there is making a cowboy film, and you need a starring role, like I've acted. I've been on plays. I've been in plays. I've done stuff. I used to convince my mum to buy me sweets and pretend I was upset. Like, I've got skills. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird episode, that one. I don't really know where I was going with it. Just something that popped in my brain the other day when I'd seen something cowboyish on TV, and I was like, I'd love to be in a cowboy film. So I thought, I'll tell you about it. Thanks for listening. If you could be in a film, just the one acting job, what would that be? Would it be a cowboy film? Would it be something different? Would it be like a period drama, action star? Let me know. Because I am interested. I want to hear what you say. I want to know what you think. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves. Jerry Springer style again. And yeah, I'll speak to you all soon. You've been listening to Stephen Speak the Podcast. Thanks for listening to my unscripted prattle on everything and nothing. Visit stephenspeak.com for updates, information, and my blog. You can follow more updates on social media at StephenSpeakPC. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon.